All
Okay.
right, we live. We live in Decatur, where it's greater. You know, that's what I always,
That was gonna come up.
that's what I always remember about you is
Yes,
Decatur,
yes.
where it's
You
greater, baby.
always be like, is it still greater in Decatur? I'm like, yeah, it's Decatur.
Yeah, man. If I don't remember nothing else about you, girl, I'm gonna remember that Decatur, where it's greater.
Yeah. And it's Alabama, not Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. Because a lot of people, they always
Thank
think
Georgia.
about Georgia. That's right.
Yeah.
So it is blended lines time with the member interview, and so at first I appreciate you joining me and taking time out, and the purpose of these interviews is kind of like it's twofold. You look so studious with your glasses on. It's twofold, so it helps me get more personable with the members in the group because there's almost 1,000 people in there, and of course I don't know half of them. Now, of course, me and you already have history.
Right.
So to get to know people better, and then the other thing is I like for people to, hey, what's up, Gretchen? Um, Give their own experience when it comes to racism or inequality of any struggles, whatever it is. Uh,
Right.
and I was excited about this interview because we're kind of alike. You know what I'm saying? I'm mixed.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you're mixed.
Right.
We go way back to Alabama. We both went to the University of Alabama, and Tasha has always been like my sister, man. To me,
Yeah.
she's like the female version of me, and I'm probably like the male version of her.
Yeah. People used to think we were siblings, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, we really did. I mean,
always.
we could probably pass for it, to be honest, with the
Uh-huh.
complexion. And one thing I always liked about you, you always kept it real, same as me. So
Yeah. No.
go ahead and just give us a little background as to like, where you grew up and
Um. Sure. Let me first start by saying, you know, I'm at home, so I have the kids here. They're cooking breakfast.
yeah, you good.
If you see people walking around, it's just the kids and things.
Yeah,
And I told them to feel free if there's something that they feel like they might want to chime in on or have an opinion about.
absolutely.
To feel free. But yeah, everyone I've known Cliff since like 97. We met through a mutual friend Dante, and
Yeah.
actually we all became closer friends and just had shared some of the same experiences growing up and backgrounds, and then even coming from our high schools and then transitioning to Alabama, because even then, like over 20 years ago, it was kind of a stigma for us to like, oh, you chose Alabama, and
Right.
people would have comments to say because we went to Alabama. So, and just growing in life, how we always talked about, it's just chapters and journeys. But from Decatur, Alabama, I currently reside in Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school at Alabama, divorced mother of two, and pretty much background in administration, primarily HR, and adjuster as a PNC. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, look, man, when it comes to like the single moms, I don't know how y'all do it. I swear.
but you know what? I don't. Well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't use that term. I always say
Yeah.
divorced mom because
Okay. Okay.
you know, and I know you know the ex-husband. So I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
a
yeah.
mom. I mean, he is a good provider, and we
That's good.
co-parent.
That's
It took a while to get there, but we co-parent pretty well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I'll say anybody who's taking care of their kids without a partner in the house, like right now, I got both of my boys here and Toya at work.
yeah,
Man.
yeah. When I was married, I used to think like, how do people do it by themselves with not only just in the house but no help?
Right.
So I've honestly, I think I've just been blessed.
Yeah.
God has blessed me to be able to still continue to have a good family unit, even though the family or nuclear family is no longer together.
Nuclear family. I like that. Hey, look, no family is perfect, bro.
It is.
Yeah.
You learn and you deal with it, and it hasn't impacted anything. They actually have two places. When my son is too loud with the game, Marley was just saying 2 nights ago, I'm gonna call my dad and go downtown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hey, it works.
That's
Works.
good, man. Hey, however you can get it to work, that's how you get it to work. I ain't mad at nobody. So I know I've mentioned my race on here several times in blended lines, and I've told them that I'm mixed, and I've also mentioned like when growing up, uh some of the struggles for me being mixed was, I grew up in a predominantly white area in Center Point back when it was all white. And so K through 6, I was, getting called a nigger, like every other day. And then when I finally left the predominantly white and went to an all black school, then I caught it from the black side, and they was like, well, nah, you can't use the N word because you too white,
Too like
or you're not black enough, right?
yeah.
So, and you fill in with this after me. Like, I know at one point in my life, I felt like I was literally like my own island, because it's like I was getting it from the white people, I was getting it from the black people, and I just kind of learned to be my own person. Now, what's so crazy is I was never the type that wanted to be popular, but because I guess I was my own person, I got kind of
People
thrown.
gravitate to you. People
Yeah,
gravitate to you.
exactly, they do.
People that are strong and that own themselves,
Right,
It's
right.
mystical. It's the mistakes. Like, I wonder who this person is, or
Yeah,
they,
right.
they're not, beating to everyone else's drum.
Yeah, and I think, and you know what, you're exactly right. I think people gravitate towards that, not knowing that I wasn't intentionally trying to do it. It was just kind of like,
Yeah,
well,
be
I'm
in the background. I don't even want the attention.
right, right. I'm gonna be low key and fly under the radar,
Fly
and
under the radar.
whoever wants to come
But
into my
you
space.
don't. Just your
Yeah,
being doesn't. Just people. Just I believe in like auras and vibes from people. Just energy when you meet somebody the first
yeah,
time. Even the old saying, how can I put it? You don't judge a book by its cover, but in the same breath, when you first meet someone, that first introduction says a lot. It could be a good or bad one, whether it's misinterpreted or not. But as far as growing up, we've talked about that when we used to have our little sessions and talk about politics and life and
hmm
school and racism and things like that. I did, but honestly, I will say it probably came more from family. Than the outside. I mean, it was never like, I honestly never got called out of my name. I've seen it happen to family, but not to me per se, like the N word or anything like that. Mostly it was from classmates, mostly black, that might be like, oh, well, you're not black enough, or you're a white girl. Because of the things that I chose to participate in. It wasn't usually a lot of us. Now, the neighborhood I grew up in was predominantly black, although Decatur is small. It might be like 40, 50,000 people. So it would be more like a small Tuscaloosa. It's nothing like Birmingham, But as far as name calling, it was mostly like Mutt or Oreo.
Mutt?
Half
Wow,
yeah,
really? Man, mud is almost, man, to me, mud is like worse than saying nigger. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no.
Those things were said to try to hurt my feelings, So it really made me, I've always had a tough skin. You know that. I've never, excuse my language, give a fuck what somebody said.
Right. See?
Who I am.
That's why we get along.
Honestly, if they got to know me, they would understand that. And I've always said that if somebody don't like me, they don't even know me.
Right.
If they got to know me, I mean, you don't judge a person by their physical stature. I think we're talking about looks. Of course, your look is different. So but I never wanted to be judged or be thought of, oh, NaTasha that's fair skinned, or NaTasha that has straight hair. Like NaTasha because she is a good person. NaTasha because she gives good vibes. NaTasha because, she's my friend, not because she's fair skinned or
right. Were you always comfortable in your skin, or did you ever have a moment where you were like, I wish I was darker, or I wish I was lighter? Did you ever have any moments like that?
I think probably I wished at some point I was darker or had different hair. Just because, I grew up more with my black side. So,
right.
Like my cousins or my mom or my grandma or my sister, they're getting their hair done. And, I couldn't get a bunch of, barrettes and things in my hair, or I couldn't, I didn't go get perms or whatever it may be. I couldn't get my hair straightened on Sunday.
Yeah.
I couldn't get fancy styles, or, it just really didn't do much. And I just, me, I even still, I tan. I like having color. I think I look better with color. But I think that was the biggest thing, just probably cultural things that I couldn't participate in, or, didn't understand. And that,
Right.
but I think it went the other way too.
Yeah.
I still wear sunscreen. I always have. I can burn easy if I
Yeah.
don't. You know.
It's funny on the tanning tip because like I was so ignorant to it. I was like, yeah, I'm black, so I can't burn. So
Oh
when
no.
we went to Jamaica, me and Toya,
You're like a redhead. You're gonna tan.
oh man, dude. Yeah, so me and Toya, we in Jamaica. It's like 1,000 degrees, and she like put some suntan lotion on, and I'm like, I'm black. I don't need suntan lotion. I went out there and got fried.
Your head was even tan, like burnt, hurt.
It was burnt.
That is even worse when it's in your scalp. Yeah,
it was burnt because and then it all was peeling.
My son, like, I don't need. I'd be like, okay. Then he'll come over and want me to rub him. I'm like, no, everyone needs it. Everyone,
I was the same way. I was like, look, don't touch me, like I'm hurting. But I mean, that was a lesson learned for me. But that kind of goes to show you some of the stigmas that are out there. Like I was even thinking myself, just because I'm black, I can't burn, which is so far from the truth. But so do you think you being mixed and what you went through growing up made you a strong person, or do you think you was already naturally strong?
I think God inherently automatically gives us our gifts and things, and we just have to either open them up or unlock them or whatever. So I think I've always been a strong person. Like I've always been mature. I've always been very inquisitive. I was a little girl. I didn't play with dolls and Barbies. I read the newspaper and got books for gifts. That's what I wanted. I like to read. But as far as being strong, yeah, I'm just a strong person. I think it made me a more empathetic person because I can empathize with people more so that are different or might be treated different or might be looked as different. And it could be physical, it could be ethnical, it could be anything, I understand, because no one chooses to be what they are in that regards as far as race and things. But,
right.
It's not like, oh, well, like even with the conversation and I was listening to last week with, lesbian or gay or bi or LGBTQ, like, I used to always think, well, they don't, why would somebody choose to be, treated bad, like black, like chooses that. You can't help your ethnicity, your who God made you, and that's just,
right. Exactly, and that was actually Gretchen.
It's more tolerant, and I've always been an inquisitive person, so
yeah,
I like to know why people are who they are.
Yeah,
it makes them unique.
Yeah, well, that was Gretchen that I interviewed last week, and Gretchen is my girl.
I love that interview. I did. I love that interview.
Yeah, and she just asked a question. Can you see the question when it comes up here?
No, I don't see any. Oh,
all right. So she asked the question. Oh, okay.
You know what? When I was younger, I wasn't as patient as I am now. Okay, I'm 41. So when I was younger, if somebody made the wrong comment, I'm not a physical fighter because I'm not. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I have a slick mouth, and I will say something real slick that you wished it would have been a hit. Because I just think people need to understand it's not always what you say, and it's never what you say.
Right.
It is tone and how you say it.
Right.
So if somebody's inquisitive and like, oh well, what are you or what's your ethnicity or your nationality, which nationality is actually wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm American, but it should be ethnicity. I'll tell them, but if they say something stupid like, are you mixed? And I'll say something like, oh, well, you never seen light-skinned people. Black. Or something,
Right.
But, it's not frustrating now. It used to be, depending on the setting. You could be at a venue that might be predominantly Black, and somebody might not feel like you're not Black enough to be there. Or the opposite, I could be, I don't know, been at Hot Fish Club and get stares. I mean, I'm not being like that, but and you're might not be that enough. But I don't, no, not at all. Because I embrace who I am. It is what it is.
That's good, and that was a great question, Gretchen. So another friend of mine, Michelle, it's kind of like a 3-part question. I was trying to find the question this morning in the group, man, but
I have like jotted down some on this one of my note cards, and I can't find
Did
it.
you have her question written down? Did you see her question?
No, I didn't see that one. But when Gretchen's popped up, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I had my little note card, and I've got everything over here from school forms to So
Oh well, you good. I can roughly remember what you asked.
freestyle.
Yeah, but she was asking something along the lines like, being mixed. How were you able to um identify with your uniqueness? You know what I'm saying? Since you're kind of catching it from both sides. And then also the second part of that question was um what makes you identify, because they're gonna say we're black because it's the one drop rule, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I've had
yeah,
some people recently didn't even know it. I'm like, are you serious? Like,
yeah, yeah. But her other question was like, what makes you identify with black
one or the other.
over? Yeah, right.
Okay. Well, to answer the first part, gosh, like I just always knew I was different.
Yeah.
Like I just always knew that. I knew I looked different. I knew that my hobbies and interests were different, even though they were, some were the same with family and friends. They didn't really like listening to rock and roll or Def Leppard or, in elementary school, or they didn't want, to go to the river and, jump off. It was just different, So I always knew I was different. So I never tried to conform. I always did my own thing, and my friends that were my friends were because of who I was. So I had an eclectic mix, You understood that, like, especially in college, I had friends that were, studious, and I had friends that were in sororities and fraternities or partied or white or black, but it wasn't because that didn't define me. Everything I did, it was because I like to do it. So no, I never had a problem with my uniqueness.
Yeah. That's good, man. Because
I never, and two, I will say this, because of my makeup, that was never even discussed like growing up. I mean, it was known, but we didn't discuss it, so it was never an issue or brought up. Now, if somebody brought it up, then it was addressed, but it was, it never really was an issue. It was understood, and that didn't, defy who I was.
Right. I wonder. So you grew up around predominantly black people, right?
Yes.
I wonder, was it such an issue with me? Because it sounds like it was a difference between being around white people and being around black people.
Because I had and I think it's more prevalent now, more biracial children. But I had friends like growing up in elementary school whose mom was white, and they were raised, around their mom's side only, and they were had totally different interests, or grew up in a totally different environment. Maybe whether it's the foods they ate or activities they participated in, churches that they went to, because I went to a Methodist church. It was United Methodist, but it was a Black Methodist church. So that's why I say I don't think it was ever it was never brought up. I mean, it was understood and known, but they didn't make it an issue. So as far as uniqueness, it was embraced. I mean, I will definitely say that anything I wanted to do or try or experience or whatever, I was.
You just did it and just didn't care.
I just, I lived life, and life has been very good to me, and I just hope that my children get to even go further than I had to go.
Right. Yeah, I think as good parents, that's what we always.
Oh, yeah. I definitely believe in a good family unit, and you have to have a good village. Not just they need a good. It takes a village.
Absolutely. I just told a group member that last night. I was like, it takes a village for sure.
Not just mom and daddy. Mom and daddy got to have some little satellite offices with the grandparents. Cousins.
Yeah.
Older cousins that they think that's friends with them, but they really spying for, mom and daddy.
Right.
It's different. I mean, I think 20 years ago, we barely had a cell phone. We weren't even texting. We were playing Snake.
Yeah.
Downloading ringtones, and now they have literally, a computer,
Right.
So it's different, and as a parent, learning every day. But as far as anything with raising mine, I mean, we're very open about race and things. So yeah,
well, that's a good segue into the net. Well, before we move on to that, Gretchen said, because Gretchen is openly gay. She says, my experience in being different is similar. Did you have any gay friends?
Yeah, I did. I had a good friend in high school. And he was, but it wasn't something that we discussed. I mean, everyone knew it.
Right.
And he actually passed away in 2012.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think we had a bunch of the same, because he was different, but no one. I think when people talk about it or make a big deal about it,
Yeah.
this as far as on my end being different, not saying racism in general, but just being biracial. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean,
Yeah. It's really not.
It's not. I think just, it's just society. It's just America. It's just ingrained in American society, politics. I mean, from the beginning of its existence. So it's always going to be an issue just because it's so ingrained in America. But me personally, I don't think it's an issue. It's just,
I think it's so interesting that, when I asked you, were you always comfortable? Did you ever want to be darker or lighter?
I
And
like my mom and grandma.
yeah, well, see, I used to, so what's crazy is what I kind of picked up on is like, a lot of my Black friends wanted to be lighter or have my greater hair because I had like curly hair. And little did they know, like, I wanted to be
Like, I want to go
more
to
like them.
yeah, get it curled and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And I mean, my hair was naturally curly. And people literally used to walk up to me and be like, "Can I touch your hair?" And it now that I think about it, it's so uber gross to do that.
It's just funny how, and I think, the world is changing and it is more people that are traveling more, that
Right.
see more, that are exposed to more people, that are having more children that are outside of their race. But, I remember like all the time, even sometimes now I get asked, but especially in college, because, we're in a more diverse group, but getting asked everything under the sun, Puerto Rican or Asian or Egyptian or Iranian or Mexican. I mean, anything, everything, but, just very simple. Like, I'd be like, no, I'm just Southern.
I know, like you really can have fun with it. Like I can't tell you how many times.
Bass used to say, literally, like America. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well,
that's my little melting pot.
Where's she at?
Marley.
Marley. Oh, she done got so tall.
Yeah, she's 16.
So big. What's up, girl?
Yeah, she just made breakfast. So
good for you.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think that if we have more dialogue and, platforms just to even just be able to discuss openly, things about race or racism, colorism.
That's right. Colorism. Yeah, I just found out about colorism in the group.
Thing than just being biracial, because colorism exists more so.
I did not know about colorism until I started this group. Had never heard of it.
Or I think we knew about it, just not the term. But
yeah, we didn't know the term. Right. And that's what I love about the group. Like I always tell people before I started the group, I was like, yeah, I got white people figured out. Like I know everything there is about white people. I had no idea. Hell, I didn't even know. I didn't know a lot about Black people either, obviously. So it's like I'm learning just like everybody else.
Yeah, it's funny because you hear these stereotypes growing up, so it's like, oh, all Black people eat fried chicken and
watermelon, fried chicken.
And I do. If I do, I'm actually frying chicken today. But
I love fried chicken.
White people when they get wet, they smell like a dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about
that. Just things that you just hear growing up, and you don't. That's why it's so good for people to, I'll tell my kids, like my son, he going, but she's ready to go to college. Like you've got to get away from home. Even Hoover is diverse. I like the schools here, but I still want them to be more diverse. She don't want to say, but I want them to see something even more diverse, so they can see that there's different people, and those stereotypes are just. It's propaganda, but we can talk about propaganda and something else. But that's just what it is, and you have to get to know people literally for who they are.
I mean, I love that.
Blending lines, this platform, this a great thing. And I'm glad that you invited me to be a part of it. I'm glad I was able to ask some friends and family to be a part of
Yeah.
it. Hopefully
Yeah.
this add their insight and I can take away some insight.
Yeah. I love like you've invited some good people, and people always ask me.
Absolutely. I invited people I felt that could really contribute
Yeah.
and could teach and could learn just like I can. That's what it's
Yeah.
about. We'll be
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah. People always ask me like, Cliff, did I?
I keep saying I want to get off Facebook. I do. And it's like, well, I'm gonna just give it a little time, but it's nice. It's like a breath of fresh air. It is.
Yeah, I tell people, man, just stay inside our blended lines bubble until things get back to normal on the outside. Whenever that'll be,
I
who
know.
knows when that'll be.
I feel like I'm Alice in Resident Evil.
I used to love that game too,
Man,
man.
I was scared to play the game, but
Yeah,
but
yeah,
once I played the game, that's why I got in the movies. I know
yeah,
we're
yeah. I was playing at Alabama. Actually, we used to turn all the lights off and play it.
in the
Scared as
comments.
hell.
I had got a PlayStation just for that in that game, Bust the Groove, so I could date.
Yeah. So going to like when you had kids, all right, with us being mixed, I know with me especially when I had kids, there were some things that I absolutely wanted to make sure they understood from a racial aspect. So when you had kids, and I'll share what I wanted.
Mhm.
Number one, I did not want my kids to go through what I went through growing up, as far as being called a nigger every day or every other day. But on the flip side of that, I did not want to instill hatred or anger towards white people in them, because I wanted to tell them the truth. So I was completely raw about what happened with us, the hangings, all of that. I was raw with it because
That's what it is.
yeah, and I don't sugarcoat anything with my kids, because my perspective on it is when they get in the world is not going to sugarcoat it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to them real so they can be ready. So when I told Cam about what I went through, obviously he was angry, but I immediately followed up with, look, we cannot label all white people as racist and hate white people. I came at it from a spiritual aspect with like, look, God wants us to love all people. All people are his children. That's what we need to do, as hard as it may be sometimes. And did he get it at the time? Not really. But I mean, he was 7. He was 7 years old. He couldn't get past the hate. Like, why do they hate us?
I don't like you just because of your color.
Yeah, he couldn't. I mean, hell, I'm 42 and I don't get that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, how can somebody not like somebody just
Yeah, yeah.
they didn't do nothing to you, but
Right. So that's how I felt when I had kids. So how was it when you had kids? Like, how did you talk to them about racism and
it wasn't really, I think it was ever just one talk. It would just maybe something come up and we discuss it right then.
yeah, okay.
And family on both sides. I mean, you have the spectrum literally from white to black is black. I mean, so we're not the only ones, and it's a very diverse. But I remember when my son was, gosh, he was maybe like 2,
Mhm.
and he was saying that we were white, and I'm like, no, we're not white. And he's like, yeah, we are. We're white. Our skin is white. He's like, no, we're black. He's like, no, that's black, and pointed at the stove. And I'm like, no, that's not black. Grandma's. He's like, grandma's black. I'm like, no. And I had to break it down to him. And morally, I had already discussed because she's 3 years older than him. But like coffee, like foods.
Mhm.
So black comes in a range of colors.
Right.
You're like marshmallows or black as coffee. Skin tone wise, and that white people have same skin but different hair and eye color.
Mhm.
That's the easiest way I can explain it then. But then,
Yeah.
you get older, you understand, and then you discuss with them about your background.
Mhm.
And then even like bringing up with history or maybe projects and things. And I know, like, I'm a history nerd, but and I can't give them everything, but I do counteract what they learn, and I teach them about certain things, or I'll bring up a subject and ask them, and I'll give them a little snippet and say, well, go Google it,
Mhm.
or Wikipedia, because I think growing up, and I understand how schools are and books, but we were literally just told like a whole lie about a lot of things. It was
Yeah.
really like propaganda.
Right.
And then you go to college and you learn like this is why and this is what happened really. You're like, oh wow, like, I was just told like a whole fairy tale. But
Yeah.
no, then you understand why we're to this point. So I feel like a lot of times that if people understood history, really understood why they chose, black people as, it's not like they didn't try to enslave white people at first, but I mean they look like them. They could easily say I'm not a slave, well,
Right.
couldn't tame the
Right.
Native American. They knew the land.
Right.
They couldn't keep them. Well, they just went somewhere else, found somebody who didn't know the land, didn't know
Yeah.
the culture, and could
Mhm.
I mean, and even it's even more that's history. And I don't mean to because I'll go on a tangent in a minute, a story in a story.
It's all good. It's all education, man.
Learn, and I just at least want them to be aware. Like I don't want them to think like it's just been the way it is forever. And
Right.
just 50, 60 years ago, your grandparents were doing sit-ins in college. So I want them
Right.
to, and we've made a lot of progress, and you will continue to make progress. But make no mistake, there is a lot of progress to be made. Some of those times
Oh,
weren't that long ago, and that you just have to persevere and keep going. I mean,
it really is, man. And it's good you bring that up because it made me think about like last year I had to go to CAM school for a situation. I mean, it was race related, when somebody called him a nigger, and that's just fourth grade. And I just happened to be in the library up there. And now we live in Shelby County in Pelham. And I'm just going through the library and I'm looking at, they had like a whole history section over there, right? So I'm looking at the history section, and it's like Christopher Columbus. And I think the only black book they had over there was
Rosa Parks or MLK.
yeah, I think it was MLK. That's what it was. MLK, but nothing else. So I went up to the librarian. I was like, wait, where your black history books at? And she was like, "Oh, well, if you don't see it over there, then we don't have it." I'm like, there is so much black history that's not in this library.
Yes, and I think the month of February, it just, if it was my way, they literally should just like scratch those history books and literally just and be inclusive of all history, the Native
Yeah,
American history to the, pre-colonial to post-colonial to, antebellum to whatever it may be, and really
right.
include everyone because it's just not a
It's not accurate.
true, yeah, it's not a true no, it's not accurate.
I
So
totally agree with you. I think, and I'm gonna be honest, man. At this point, I feel more confused now than ever before when it comes to our history because I feel like it's all a lie.
mhm.
I don't know what to believe at this
Until
point.
we got to college and you take these courses, even if it was American history or whatever, it could be an English class and you discuss in books and they discuss history. Like you really learn about things. And I think like you were talking about the access that kids have to, I never played with dolls, but I had family that did, and there wasn't a lot of things that were geared or that looked like us, especially not me, but
Mm,
like black dolls or books
right.
that featured black authors or black children. I was really big on that when the kids were little. They're older now, they're more
Mm,
into like TikTok and social media and
right.
like that. But when they were little, we every year would get books for the both of them that was age appropriate. um, I mean, I'm not in Jack and Jill anymore, but they would give us a list. And that's one thing I will say that I liked about that because we got books age appropriate for our children that were written by, and I hate to say that, but you know what I mean, that were
Yeah.
for black children and
Right.
featured black characters. And,
Right.
I just think, like you said, it's just not enough access to things that look like us besides, I love rap, like I'm old school.
Right.
But I hate this rap shit now. I hate the
Yeah.
music. It is just shitty.
Yeah.
And
It is.
I look, I'm like, oh,
It's
it ain't no. I mean, it could at least be something catchy like Self Destruction or a Tupac song, like
yeah.
Temptations or I don't know. It's just a different thing, and I just feel like. But that's a whole nother story. Just the agenda is so different for the youth, and I'd be like, okay, it's okay not to fit in, and it's okay to. It's just. I thought these would be the easy years. These are
Right.
the daycare and buying diapers years, and I'll just say that just because there's just so many obstacles, so many things going on right now.
Yeah.
Especially the current climate,
Yeah. I'm, through my own personal struggles, ordinarily when I go through challenges, I hated it, right? But see, now, like times like this, I love it
have to face them.
because at the end of it all, you're gonna come out shining. You know what I'm saying? It's just you have to go through the struggle and the hurt and the pain and the discomfort in order to evolve or get to the next level. And my heart goes out to people who aren't comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't imagine how they're doing right now, especially from a mental health. Because I'm big on mental health. I can't imagine how.
Not mentally
Yeah,
together before all this went on, and not just COVID, but like the current climate and politics and
right.
the news and social media. So I'm sure it is. Some people handle things better than others.
That's true. That's very true. Um, is there anything that you would change about your life?
No, I wouldn't have. I will say this. Yeah, maybe one if I could. Because I really, but I loved Alabama. Like Alabama was like one of the best chapters in my life. I met some of my best friends there that I'm still friends with. We struggled together with and figured out life together with. But I wish I would have had that HBCU experience, even if it would have been just a year. I really wish I should have done that.
Look, I can tell you. So, I think you knew this, but before I went to Bama, I was in a minority program at Alabama A&M.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I went there for a summer though, and dude,
I went in middle school and high school for summer camps, and I was like, I like college, but I don't want to be here. That's the only thing I don't want to be here because I was only Decatur's like a high school camp, so how did you know?
It was just so different in regard, and this is why I went to Bama. And I kind of feel like you. Like if I could do it over again, I probably would go to a HBCU.
Bama is something different though, like a or
Well, the reason that I left is because, as you already know, HBCUs don't have nowhere near the money that white colleges have.
These things that we had,
yeah. So like I remember at A&M in the summer of 1996, Alabama A&M only had, if I'm not mistaken, I only knew of this one computer lab, and it probably had about 12 computers in it. And we had an assignment to do, and we were literally like fighting over the computers. You know what I'm saying? To get our
funny, but that's like 50 years ago when the black schools didn't have books. I'm serious. I mean, that's a reality.
And then we go to Bama, and how many computer labs is it? Like one in every dorm.
Every building had one, and you're ordering pizza off your account.
Yeah, your pro card. Yeah. So I was like, I'm not gonna stay here. And look, they tried. They was like, you need to stay here at the HBCU where the black people are. I was like, look, y'all got one computer lab. I'm not. And I know that's messed up. It's really messed up when I think about it. It's sad.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing with him because I understand.
Yeah, but I was looking out for Cliff too, and I was like, look, I gotta have the right resources. Yeah. So I went to Bama, and then when I get to Bama, it's just way different. But I just remember like when I was staying in Burt next to the place where Vivian Malone, and the George Wallace. When I would walk back from class, I would go and stand in front of that plaque, like literally just looking up, and just be like I'm here right now, but like 30 years ago, I couldn't have been here. And man, I cannot tell you how many moments I had just staring at that plaque. Like, this is mind blowing to me.
To even be there and walk on the campus. I mean, it's a lot more of us, going secondary, but especially at Bama, because when we went, it might have been like a handful. When I say handful, maybe 5 people from Decatur that was there during any length of that stay. But it was such a family-oriented blacks. I mean, like I come there and I'm talking about the first couple of days. I was like, oh my God, I think I just want to go home. This is
Me
so
too.
you
Yeah.
know, my mom's like, you want me to come get you? I'm like, but no, I ain't no simp. I got this. I just, I don't know what, and I just met, Tiffany and Bernie on the elevator. And
Yeah.
then you just meet people in class or studying or in the bookstore. And it was literally like family. Like, okay, you got beans, I got rice, you got this, we're going to cook together. Or, can you help me with the study guide? It was really like a great time.
Right.
Um, I met some really great people, and I don't regret that, but I just wish I would have had that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can relate to that. I've always said there was nothing about my life that I would change, but I can definitely relate to that, man, because
Just to have that camaraderie, I
right, right,
visit colleges that were black, or they'd have activities, but to probably just be a student and the entire student body, I'm sure it gave you a better sense of camaraderie or
right, right. And I think that's important because one of the things
Mhm.
that I wanted to make sure with my boys is even though we again stay in a predominantly white area and go to a predominantly
like
white school, I want him,
herbs, like no, I mean
yeah,
it's black people in Hoover.
yeah, yeah. I want him to know his black side, if that make any sense. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh
when I'm
yeah,
in the car, I listen to like the most ratchet rap music, and it's loud and
why you
uh
look? You
you
hear?
know, and my son, he be over there, he got his little swag going, and I'm just kind of like, yes, all right, he's
Like
discovering the black side.
rhymes or something. They'd be like, Mama. I mean, like, I promise. We would have been
Yeah,
friends 20, 25 years ago, but I'm home.
yeah.
I just let them know I'm not always like straight laced and nice.
Right, right. I mean, it's important that they know all of their culture.
Absolutely. I think that just makes you that I feel like that's what always made me unique. I can enjoy, believe me, I love ham hocks and greens just as much as I like sushi and a medium
Yeah,
steak. I
me
mean,
too.
I like going somewhere to a hole in the wall or a festival just as much as I do something formal. I just really think it's about experiences and just and enjoying life. Like you cannot fit to anybody's mold. You
Yeah,
shouldn't anyway. I mean, I never
yeah,
have, and I never will. I just don't think I will.
yeah. No, I don't think anybody needs to do that. And that's kind of like another thing with blended lines is I'm starting to see that a lot of the people in blended lines are different, whether it's the mentality, how they
Their
look.
experiences
And
are different. There's like
yeah,
based on what they have experienced or have seen, and I think
right.
good avenue that we all can just say hey or ask a question or what do you think of this or
Yeah,
just something uplifting or what.
yeah. Yeah, I just want people to look beyond the freaking skin color or sexuality. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the way that gay people are treated is just as messed up. I mean,
Somebody that is people of color are treated sometimes.
yeah, yeah.
I just think we're
People,
more alike. People don't understand. You're more alike than you are different. Like, oh my
right,
gosh, it could be anything simple. I'm sure everyone has. You can be out somewhere. And I know this is a long time. I'm sorry, but I'll talk all day. But
no, no, we good. We got an hour. We had an hour.
oh, okay. You can just meet somebody, something random. I don't know, an airport or
Yeah,
picking up dinner. And a song or a food or just something at work, and you'd be like, "Oh, you like that too?" Like a friend of mine at work, and she was like, "Oh, so you like Star Wars?" And I'm thinking, like, what? You wouldn't think I had a screen. I know. I mean, I'm cool with the good side, but I like Darth Vader. And
yeah. Oh, me too. Don't feel bad. Yeah, I do
I
too.
had a screensaver at work, and we went and got breakfast. And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were and I was like, yeah. And I'm thinking, maybe because I don't know many, I don't have any of my black girlfriends that like Star Wars. I got some black
Right,
friends, but they're not girls that like Star Wars. But hey,
right.
and she told me about Mandalorian. And,
Yeah,
so it's like you would have never thought, she never probably thought I would like that.
right, right.
But it could be anything at all.
And I think that's
Two people.
what I more than anything, what I want people to realize, man, is that there's beauty in difference. You know what I'm saying? Like if the world was just everybody was the same, it would be boring as
Oh
hell.
gosh, uniqueness
It would be depressing.
beautiful. Yeah, everything
Yeah,
is different. You can find. I I can find something interesting in everything. I'm sure, as adults and in our own schedules, we don't have a lot of downtime. But I'll tell you, the most fun thing to do if I have a couple hours is to like get ice cream or some drink and sit like on a bench.
And people what?
Oh my God, I
I
love it.
love it.
But especially if I have a restaurant and I can sit outside, that way I can be inconspicuous more so.
Yeah.
It's the best thing to just watch people or watch them interact or not eavesdropping, but just, because people are just people. Everyone has
Yeah.
things that they deal with and go through, no matter, what race or nationality or socioeconomic status, like that's life. But
Right.
I think we've just compartmentalized everything and made everything so divisive. You have to pick one or the other. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
can't I remember it in a biscuit?
Right. Right. Yesterday I posted, I did a post and I love pictures. So I was like, post a picture of somebody that you love, right?
I saw that one.
But if you notice, every time I do that, like I'll do like post your kids or post your family.
Mhm.
When you get down about the 50th comment and you just look, number one, what's so amazing is that not one person out of all those pictures looks the same, right? Everybody's different. That's the beauty of it. So everybody's always like, oh my God, I love these pictures and the different races and colors.
Mhm.
And I mean, just that post alone shows you like how beautiful just people being different is. You know what I'm saying? And there's so much out there to learn from it.
I agree. I agree. Like you say, it would be such a boring world if we didn't have things that are different. If we only had one pinto bean, then what pinto beans every day. We like
Right.
black-eyed peas and llamas, and I'm just saying, like that is what is unique. And I think if we just really like everyone just open up and just say, hey, this is why. And I think people do. I just think it's with the current climate, it's just history in itself is what's so hard. Because honestly, me personally, I don't care about a statue. Okay,
Yeah.
put one up of Garvey. I mean, it's just a statue that doesn't make anything. You know,
Right.
I
Right.
don't know. It's just such a difficult climate right now. I think where everyone is just taking it day by day and in the news and schools and things. But I think together we'll get through it, and to have the group has really been good, especially given can't go anywhere, and I want to go somewhere so bad. Oh my god,
Oh man, you know, my wife.
I want to just go to Atlanta for the weekend, but I'm even
Yeah.
go there. I just have to stay in my little bubble.
Yeah, man. So for somebody like me, this is tough. And my wife won't let me go nowhere.
No, I mean
Nowhere.
no, and you could be healthy and get it because it could be somebody that's super healthy and have an issue with it, and somebody that has a bad immune system and
Right.
thrive and don't get sick. So
Right.
you just
Well,
have
one good thing about it, I'm utilizing my time with this blended lines, man. I mean, I got something to do every day when it comes to
to
blended lines.
forward to it. So I was so happy that I got to be a part of it. I think you want to come up here. Come on over here.
Come on over here. Come on.
It's funny. I probably should have got her to join quicker, but you can sit in my lap. She goes to high school, and we do talk about issues
Mhm.
where race and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Get on here. Marley, right?
Oh, yeah,
What's
Marley.
up, Marley?
We won't talk about it too much.
Tasha's mini me.
Yeah.
I mean, what are some of what are some of the challenges you've gone through just as a mixed kid? I mean, I know it's different from what me and Tasha went through when we was younger. Does it seem to be more acceptable now to be like mixed, or is there still a lot of racism?
It's kind of like, well, like I have more black friends than I do white friends, just because my like black people usually like my black friends, like my black side, I'm kind of used to them, and they just kind of gravitate toward me. Like we gravitate to each other because I go to Hoover, so it's not many people that I can relate to, and I feel like I can relate to my black side more than I do my white side because that's where I grew up with. But
Right.
like a lot of people are used to it, but we still get treated the same, like as we're just black. Like,
Wow. That's
but white people do love my hair. But I do. It's like Hispanic people. They do like they'll come up to me and like start speaking Spanish. Like I'm not the best at Spanish, but like
yeah.
I usually have more Black and Hispanic friends because I can relate to them.
Yeah. No, I totally get that, and I get the same thing every time somebody Hispanic or Latino sees me. They come up and they start talking in Spanish, and I'm like, no, hablo español. You know,
No. But,
especially when we went to the Dominican and Puerto Rico, man, I got hammered like all the whole trip. Well, I mean, I hate to hear, man, and nothing has really changed as far as still being treated like, being treated like a black person. But
second class citizen.
yeah, but I will say what we're going through now, I think it's special because I've never seen anything like what we're going through right now with just like the support that we're getting from white people. You already know all white people aren't bad, but I always said it was going to take white people getting pissed off in order for things to change. And I think we finally gotten to that point now.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of white friends that support us, and like it's kind of different because Hoover, everybody's used to being, it's more ethnicities, but like
Right.
still people that'll come to school and Trump merch and stuff like that, and it's kind of like makes me uncomfortable. Or they'll say stuff about how the black community does this, this, and that. Like it's not every white person in Hoover, but it's a selective few.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
Blanket
well,
stereotypes.
look, oh, go ahead, Tosh.
No, I was just saying blanket statements and stereotypes.
Well, I can already tell she's strong, man. I was gonna try to give you some wisdom, but I don't need to because I can already tell like you're a firecracker, you're strong, you love yourself, you don't have to try to please everybody else. You special, you got a superpower. I call it a superpower. So your goal is to go out in life and use your superpowers for good, right? And so look, I'm proud of you, man. I know it's not easy being
Your voice
mixed.
will be there.
Yeah, I know it's not easy being mixed. I know it's not easy being black in this climate, but I commend you and I appreciate you. And you got a great mom, man. Your mom is tough, man. I'm telling you. She a boss. She a boss. I'm telling you what I know, not what I heard. So you should be very thankful for her, man, because she's always been like that
I'm
going
thankful
on.
for her.
Yeah.
She's made me who I am. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And thank you so much, man, for wanting to come on here. I haven't talked to a young adult yet about this, and it's good to hear from them.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think it's good for them. You were saying this has never happened, and just I feel like we're living history almost. I mean, things that have changed, and even through the years, through the civil rights era and things.
right?
Our parents and grandparents, they were living history, and what's happening now, this is really impacting them, the next generation. So
Yeah. I mean, I might need to get Morley on herself, man, in the future. What you think about that?
that would be neat. I think she would like that. I
Yeah,
think she would like
yeah. Would you be cool with that?
Yes,
Yeah, we'll get you out there. I'll schedule some, man. I want to hear from the kids, man. I'm glad you put her on because that
that.
just
I don't know if you can do maybe like have 2 or 3 children. I mean,
yeah, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. There are a lot of mixed interracial married couples in the group.
I
That's
saw.
got mixed kids.
That's why I say it's more prevalent now than it was.
Man, I love that idea. That's what we go do. We gonna make that happen. We gonna have some mixed kids on here, um, and then we go dig into their head and see like where we at
Maybe
and
age.
where can we go from here.
Yeah.
I love it.
Or colorism. Yeah, she was like, when you talking about colorism, I was like, we just touch it. We touch it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about color. Well, I didn't know. I had never heard of that term. I'll say that until I started this group. Had no idea.
And it
about
is. It is.
Yeah, come on,
Indeed.
come on. So yeah, it needs to be talked about, and then maybe I can get this little guy on there too.
Oh, how are you?
Hey, what's up? This the shy one right here, Tasha.
Oh, he's so cool.
Well, look, man, we coming up on an hour. Which look, I told you these
It's
are
an
fun.
hour lunch break, so I hope everyone can eat. I'm gonna eat my lunch that Marley prepared. But thank you so much for having me, Cliff. I know we went on tangents here and there, but it is
Look, that's why I do an hour. Man.
nice.
Whether you schedule 30 minutes or not, I do an hour.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you had me and Marley, and I hope that everyone enjoyed our chat. And
Look, I know they did. I'm getting the love over here on my side. I can see the comments, and yeah, they loving it, man. So, and you know, some people aren't able to watch it during lunch, so
Go back and watch it, you know.
after that, yeah.
Absolutely. I know April, my cousin April, said she wasn't gonna be able to watch, but hopefully she can catch it later.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be out there for them to watch. Well, look, y'all, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Take care. One love.
Yeah, y'all hang in there. Holler if you need anything from the family. Okay?
Stay safe.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. Be safe, okay?
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye. I'm done. What's up? What you want to do?